Hi, just saw your video, and I want to first off say I appreciate how difficult it must have been for you to record that video, and how difficult it must have been for you to publish that video. And I, for one, appreciate your honesty and your willingness to share that experience. And what is YouTube if not trying to share? So I guess in that spirit, I would like to share my experiences quitting smoking. My experiences were more positive than yours. I was able to make a clean break with smoking. I just decided one day I was going to stop, and I did. Just stopped, period, and never smoked again. I did it without the usual crutches, no nicotine patches or gum or any of that other stuff, or no special inhalers or any of that crap. I just stopped. But I did think about it carefully, and I did have specific ideas in mind, a specific process for doing it, which I'd like to perhaps explain in a little more detail. The first thing I did was to recognize that over the short term there are things I liked about smoking, and those were the things that were keeping me smoking for so long. Eventually the health effects caught up with me, and I couldn't deny it anymore. It was having a real serious effect on my health. I was coughing and experiencing shortness of breath, and the effects on my health were undeniable. And I decided I wanted to quit. So the first thing I did was I used a bit of reverse psychology on myself, and I told myself that I could smoke whenever I wanted to. I could have a cigarette whenever I wanted. And when you think about it, it's true. So there's no sense in denying it. I could have a cigarette anytime I wanted to. So that poses the question, well, do I want to smoke? And the answer is no. The other thing was I did not want to deny myself access to cigarettes. So cigarettes are pretty easy to come by, and so access to cigarettes is never a problem. And trying to physically separate myself from cigarettes by throwing them away and trying to keep clear of them and trying to distance myself from people who smoke and that sort of thing, that was just not going to work. So what I did was I kept my cigarettes and my lighter with me for at least a month after I'd stopped smoking. The close proximity of cigarettes, I had my carton of cigarettes with me for a year after I quit smoking. I had them in the house for a year after I quit smoking. And that's because it's not a question of access. And I think if you try to separate yourself physically from cigarettes, I think you're just putting off the day of reckoning. So if you want to quit, you're going to quit. So the third thing I did was to try to change as little as possible in my daily routine as necessary in order to stop smoking. So what I wanted to do was not necessarily quit cigarettes, as I wanted to stop smoking. So a lot of my routines, my rituals and ceremonies remained the same while I had initially stopped smoking. So I had my cigarettes with me, my lighter with me. I'd go through the routine every morning of checking to make sure I had them with me before I left for work. I'd be at work and I'd say, well, time for a cigarette break. I'd go outside and I'd do nothing for 5 minutes and come back and resume work. And the rituals, the ceremonies, the routines surrounding smoking were the same for at least a month after I'd stopped smoking. So for the first month I stopped smoking, my behavioral routines were actually not that different. I still went through a lot of the same routines in terms of going for cigarette breaks, in terms of making sure I had my smoking paraphernalia with me at all times. All that stuff remained identical for the first month after I stopped smoking. The only difference is that I stopped smoking. I still went through a lot of the same rituals involving cigarettes for the first month anyways, until I decided that, well, maybe it's not necessary to carry them with you 24 hours a day, seeing as I had stopped smoking by that point. So I guess just to recap, the three things I found most effective in helping me quit were to use reverse psychology, to not try and deny the truth that if you want it, you can have it. There's no denying it. Don't try and deny yourself anything, okay? Second is don't deny yourself physical access to it, because that is very easy as well, and you're just postponing the day of reckoning. It's okay to keep it close. It's okay to be right next to it and have it right in your face. If you don't want it, you're not going to have it, okay? And the third thing is that trying to excise whole pieces of your life is making the job much more difficult than it has to be. Only change the things you really care about, and change as little as necessary in order for you to break the thing that's hurting you. And for me, it was smoking. It wasn't cigarettes. It was smoking the cigarette. So I kept the cigarettes. I just stopped smoking. And then after a while, the other stuff seems like it's unnecessary. It's just sort of sloughs off from your behavior. You don't need it anymore. But anyways, I hope this was perhaps helpful. And good luck. So talk to you later. Bye.